he was the one that integrated the double CC logo. No one else, their logo prior to that was not the double CC logo. It's me, Amarijasz. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about who is Karl Lagerfeld. Why do we keep hearing this man's name? Okay, if you're interested, keep watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Comment down below how you felt about it and turn on your post notification bell so you know whenever I do any post. Okay, so basically, I love Chanel, and you can't love Chanel without loving Karl, and you can't love Karl without loving Chanel. And in the spirit of the Met Gala, in the spirit of coquetteness, and just in general, I just thought it would be cool to talk about Karl Lagerfeld, his involvement in fashion, his background, why he's so influential, and just answer any questions for the younger generation or just for people who were not around for his prime or don't really understand who he is. You know, why was he someone that was worthy of being honored for this past Met Gala? So yeah. So I'm just going to start from the beginning, his background, his life story, and work his way down to his involvement in fashion. Okay, so Karl Lagerfeld's real name is Karl Otto Lagerfeld. He was born September 10, 1933, and he died, unfortunately, in February 19, 2019. He was born in Germany. He's a German fashion designer. He went to the Lycée Magny Paris, school, I guess, and he's worked for FENDI in 1965 to 2019. He worked at Chanel, which is where a lot of people know him for, where a lot of his work and his like big money, not big money moves, but big moves in fashion was done at. And that was from 1984 to 2019. He worked for Jean Patou in 1958 to 1963. He worked at Chloe from 1963 to 1978, and he collaborated with H&M, Hogan, Macy's, and Falabella in 2017. Okay, so basically Lagerfeld, as you can see here, his run was mainly in the 80s and 90s. That's when he was just like banging and banging and banging. But he first started his career in 1956. And working for top fashion houses including Balmain, Patou, and Chloe before obviously joining Chanel in 1983. As a creative director of Chanel from 1983 until his death, not obviously, but as a creative director, your job is to oversee every aspect of the fashion house, from designing collections to overseeing advertising campaigns and store displays. In his background, his father owned a company that produced and imported and evaporated milk, and his grandfather, Karl Largerfeld, was a local politician for the Catholic Center Party. So Lagerfeld wasn't someone who was poor or wasn't someone who was had a really tough upbringing financially, even though his upbringing can be a little shaky because there has been some false statements about his actual birth date, about where he was really born or whatever. But overall, we can kind of get the idea that basically his family was someone who was had money, not a lot of money, but they were probably middle class family. His family belonged to the old Catholic Church, and his mother was a lingerie saleswoman from Berlin. And in 1954, Lagerfeld submitted a dress and a competition to the International Wool Secretariat's design competition that presaged the chemise dresses, and that would be introduced by Givenchy and Balenciaga in 1957. In 1955, after living in Paris for 2 years, Lagerfeld entered another competition, and this one was a coat competition, which was sponsored again by the International Wool Secretariat, and he won that won as well. And him winning that competition was where he started getting in cahoots with the designer Yves Saint Laurent. There he was hired by Pierre Balmain, who was also a judge at the competition. So him doing those competitions really gave him the push and the boost for people who were big names in the fashion industry at that time to acknowledge him. And him winning it also made them be like, okay, who is that? Who is this man who's winning all of these competitions? And he worked as Balmain's assistant and later apprentice for 3 years. And then in 1958, Lagerfeld became the artistic director for Jean Patou. So I guess this is where he started to become in a more leadership position in these fashion houses. And in 1964, he went to Rome to study art history and work for Tiziani, but was soon designing freelance for many brands, including Charles Jourdan, Chloe, Cartier, Valentino. And in 1965, he was hired by Fendi to basically modernize their fur line. So I feel like Fendi started to see like, okay, this is a designer who can bring something new to the table. This young designer is really innovative. He's winning all of these competitions. He's really unique. I want him to come to my brand and basically revamp it and add some sauce and spice and get it back to where it needs to be, right? And he introduced the use of mole, rabbit, and squirrel pelts into high fashion. And in 1966, Lagerfeld became a designer for Chloe, working alongside Gabi Adjian. And in 1974, he became the sole designer of the brand. So again, another company that he's coming to and basically becoming the leader over that house in every aspect there is to, you know. And I feel like doing this is starting to make a lot of people see him as a leader in fashion, period. Not just, you know, a designer of their own brand, but you can come to a different brand, help them out, go to a different brand, help them out, and have other people wanting you to come to their brand because they see all of the work that you are doing. His work with Chloe made him the most prominent designer in the world. In the 70s, he was really popular for toying with the styles from the 30s and the 50s and bringing that type of look in the 70s, which also contributed to the big look by eliminating linings and adding padding. Lagerfeld integrated, and also something that I feel like a lot of people didn't know, and I didn't know while I was doing research, was he was the one who created the logo. Changed the silhouette from the padded shoulders, and he just made the shorts a little bit higher. He made the skirts a little bit shorter and a little bit shorter, more form-fitting, and raising the heels, playing with jewelry size, sometimes making them extra large, you know, making them more camp, and sometimes making them more small, maintaining the Chanel classic elegance. And basically he just overall just modernized Chanel, brought Chanel to the current day, you know. And prior to him coming to Chanel, a lot of people have said that Chanel at that time was basically dying off because of I'll do a video on that, because of Chanel's influence with politics and politicians in Germany. The brand was starting to lose its sense of esteem, and Karl Lagerfeld was really important in making people pay attention. And he did a lot of things, changing the logo, making the shorts shorter, tighter, you know, just making it come to the year where he was in, you know. And Karl Lagerfeld started his own brand at the time, and his brand was meant to channel intellectual sexiness. And then in 2022, he collaborated with Diesel for a denim collection for the Lagerfeld Gallery. And in 2006, he released a new collection for men and women called K for Karl Lagerfeld. And in 2010, the Council of the Museum of Fashion Institute of Technology created an entire award just for him called the Couture Council Fashion Visionary Award. And for his final collection, which had more of an alpine theme, it was kind of like this après-ski clothing mood. Even though he passed away from pancreatic cancer, he had wishes basically of not wanting some type of a memorial for himself, kind of just wanted to go peacefully. He didn't want I guess people to be mourning over him, or even I guess against his own wish. They still, you know, obviously had a memorial, a moment of silence at the final collection. And as we know, last year's Met Gala was in honor of him. And we saw a lot of different people basically wearing the sunglasses. We saw a ton of blacks and whites. We even saw some people acknowledging Andre Leon's talent, influence, and relationship with him. And Chanel, obviously, everyone wanted to be wearing Chanel at the past Met Gala. So we saw the gloves. Like, I feel like a lot of people was able to acknowledge and respect his impact on fashion, period. You know, and before him, I don't really know any Met Gala where the theme was based off a single person, and everyone to be able to create amazing various different looks. All these celebrities able to create millions of looks, and how designers were basically designing off of a designer. Crazy. But yeah, overall, I love Karl Lagerfeld's work. I can appreciate what he did for Chanel and for the other brands as well. It shows how much of a true leader and artist that he is, and business-minded person that he was. And yeah, I learned a lot about him. I learned a lot about Chanel. Gave me more perspective and understanding for why the Met Gala was necessary and legendary. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in my next one.